Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great Thirsty Thursday. The weekend is almost upon us. We're less than 7 days, 6 days away from the beginning of training camp, and we're already beginning to get news. I could cry. I literally could cry because not that all of it's good news, that Zach Martin might be holding out because he's seeing how much money is flowing out there for guys and things, and he wants to get a little bit more of that kitty too. And I can't honestly say that I blame him. We had yesterday Mike Fisher and others talking about the Cowboys interested in trading for Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims, 3-year wide receiver, former second round pick of the Jets. Hasn't played a lot, but when he has played, he has been a great deep threat, averaging 16.1 yards per completion. The story came out that the Jets were going to try and trade him. If not, they would release him. It ended up being that we heard that the Cowboys might be interested in him. Well, the interest, of course, ended up being that the Detroit Lions ended up making the trade for him. And this actually brings up something interesting to me in my mind. When you think about the Cowboys, the Raiders are a team that they have traded with constantly. You know, we've seen, Rolando Blackman coming from the Cowboys, Hankins going to the Cowboys from the Raiders, as well as Jason Witten going to the Raiders and so on. That's a team that you usually make a lot of deals and stuff with and seem to be okay with each other. You have to wonder if the well has been poisoned between the Cowboys and the Jets. And you're probably saying, what are you talking about? You may remember a few years back, before we actually had good safeties, before we had Donovan Wilson and Jaron Kearse and Malik Hooker, right after we were thinking about Earl Thomas, we were thinking about Jamal Adams. And there was rumors that the Cowboys were interested in trading for him and that the Jets wanted Zach Martin, and a first-round pick or other compensation. And it ended up being that the Jets felt that the Cowboys kind of threw them under the bus a little bit, let out information that shouldn't have been let out and so on, and definitely did not want to deal with them. It ended up working out okay for them because they were able to trade him for 2 number 1s to the Seattle Seahawks for an in-the-box safety, so they made that okay. But that doesn't mean that they want to do business with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we don't know, and we probably will never know, if the Cowboys actually did make a call and say, hey, we're interested in trading him. Well, sometimes, when you're a billionaire and you own a franchise, sometimes your desire to get over on somebody can override what may actually be better for the team. And I'm sure that they would rather have had traded to the Lions than to do anything that would help the Cowboys. Let's just be clear. That's the way my thinking would be. I may be completely wrong. It may be that the Cowboys actually didn't have any interest in him and didn't make a phone call. We don't know. This is just speculation, and of course, everything is just speculation. A couple interesting things that happen as we get ready for training camp. Dez Bryant. Some people have the attitude when it comes to Dak Prescott that Dak Prescott is just ass, and he is the death of many careers. I will say that Dez Bryant's career, believe it or not, his highest yards per completion was his last year with Dak Prescott. Surprisingly, that is a fact. And in fact, you can look at several players like Randall Cobb, whose numbers are higher than they ever were. And you can look at receivers, with the exception of Amari Cooper, that have come to Dallas. Most of them don't really have a career after. That their highlights or their pinnacle was actually with the Cowboys. Just saying. It seems to be that's the case. So there's all kinds of speculation of Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant, not getting along, and that Dez Bryant didn't like Dak and so on. We seem to have some clarification, and let me say shout out to Jay Tuck. If you don't know who Jay Tuck is, I don't know, you must not be on Twitter, because Jay Tuck is incredible Dallas Cowboys Twitter. Twitter? Okay, he's on Twitter and he's incredible with it. He also has his YouTube channel and is really, really good with that as well. And we saw him, of course, at the draft. He is grabbing some incredible stuff on Twitter. And he got this clip from an interview of Dak Prescott that was retweeted by Dez Bryant. So you get Dez Bryant retweeting, you definitely know you're doing something right. Dez Bryant, and I'm going to play the clip for you. Dez Bryant said, "I'm glad Dak said I was easy to communicate with because I was. Whenever you want to know about the real about a situation, that what's real leaders do, figure it out and be honest, no matter if it's a positive or negative situation." He didn't lie in this interview, and that's why I'll show you the interview, and that's why I've always had his back and respect him. So Dez set the record straight. There was no beef between me and Dak Prescott. This wasn't. Now, he didn't do like Terrence Williams and say he preferred Tony Romo or Dak or anything like that. But that's actually interesting to hear that, because we've always heard everybody say that Dak Prescott and him didn't get along. So
get to know people and you know how to talk.
Well, let me back it up here. Here we go. Let's listen in on this.
We lose the game, so the situation for you to catch the ball and go down immediately. And in practice, he catches it, he tries to go score a touchdown, and it was simple. Just, hey, this is a mistake that will win us a game later or lose us a game if you do that again. So catch that, go down. The kicker will come in, he'll do your job. You already did your job by catching that pass.
He's not the easiest guy to communicate with.
He was. I mean, when you get to know people and you know how to talk to people, there's not somebody that's easier or harder to communicate with. And that's something that's always been big for me is to get to know my teammates, get to know who they are, besides the Dez Bryant that the world knows, or besides number 88, besides the guy that throws up the X, but the guy that has kids and goes home to those kids, and the guy that loves to play video games. You got to get to know that side of people that allow on the football field for you to say whatever you want. The end zone, the time runs out and we lose the game. So the situation for you to catch the ball and go down immediately. And in practice, he catches it and he tries to go score.
Very true. This was after Dak Prescott's, I believe, rookie season, and he was basically saying, you understand Dez Bryant is an icon and a guy who's been here forever, but you got to be able to be in control of the huddle and say, hey, Dez, listen, love what you do, bro, but you got to go down so we can have the clock to kick the field goal. And I know what the haters are going to say. Yeah, he should have done that when he was running the football there in that game, yada, yada, yada. But be that as it may, you're never going to be perfect in every situation. But it's interesting to hear Dez Bryant basically say, I love the guy, I respect the guy, and he was right. We don't often hear that. And leadership as a quarterback is key. You have to have guys who want to follow you, who want to do what they need to do to win the games. And that's actually a great thing to hear. Surprisingly, Dak Prescott praised Jalen Hurts. Let's listen to the tape. Let's listen to that.
For you to catch the ball and go down immediately. The end zone, the time runs out and we lose the game. So the situation is for you to catch the ball and go down immediately. And in practice, he catches it and he tries to go score a touchdown. And it was simple. Just, hey, that's a mistake that will win us a game later or lose us a game if you do that again. So catch that, go down. The kicker will come in, he'll do your job. You already did your job by catching that pass.
He's not the easiest guy to communicate with.
He was. I mean, when you get to know people and you know how to talk to people, there's not somebody that's easier or harder to communicate with. And that's something that's always been big for me is to get to know my teammates, get to know who they are, besides the Dez Bryant that the world knows, or besides number 88, besides the guy that throws up the X, but the guy that has kids and goes home to those kids, and the guy that loves to play video games. You got to get to know that side of people that allow on the football field for you to say whatever you want.
Wow. Some respect from Dak Prescott. I guess we don't see that kind of stuff from the Eagles. But you know, it's a kinder, gentler NFL, at least with everybody except for the arrogant Eagles fans out there. So I'm going to finish this off this morning. Finish you with Get Up talking about Zeke Elliott's holdout. I'm sorry, with Zach Martin's holdout, what it means to the Cowboys. I haven't seen it, so I'm just going to listen to it with you guys.
Jeff Darlington, what's going on with the running backs? Well, a busy week because of the Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs news not being able to reach long-term extensions, and there is a trickle-down effect here. By not resetting the running back market, suddenly the rest of these running backs that are available, namely Dalvin Cook or Leonard Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, all of these guys who are searching for homes still don't know exactly what the market should be for them. So everybody kind of waiting for somebody to make a move here. Whoever does is essentially setting the market for all of the rest of those players.
Yeah.
A huge blow when it comes to the Washington franchise.
Dan Snyder, no more.
This franchise from Dan Snyder to Josh Harris is expected to be finalized today when owners do vote on this. Now, it's going to require 24 of 32 votes from the ownership in Minneapolis today for them to go ahead and make this sale official. Not going to be a problem at all. We know that 24 of 32, if not all 32.
31.
Now, finally, Zach Martin. This is very interesting. The Cowboys guard, one of the most important players on this Cowboys team, is not reporting to Cowboys training camp. He is not happy with his current contract, nor is he happy with the unwillingness of the Cowboys to restructure his deal. As Adam Schefter pointed out recently, he is making $7 million less than the top paid guard in the league. He wants more money, and if he is not at camp, this is a massive pull for a Cowboys team that not only needs him on the field, but off the field. A huge leader for this Cowboys team.
Well, you take a look at the difference when he's on and off the field.
Yeah.
Since 2019, when Zach Martin's not on the field, the Cowboys' sack percentage goes up, the QBR goes way down. That number 43 would be well below average. So he's the best player on that team, or at least on that offense. Maybe Micah Parsons is the best player on the team. As we've been doing these Madden
You got to take care of him.
These ratings. He is a 99. He's the first offensive guard to get that coveted rating.
99
in
rating.
more than a generation. So he's that important of a player. So look, Ryan Clark, we're a long way away from the season starting. There is every opportunity for them to figure this out. Let's just sort of talk in our minds for a moment here about a Cowboys team that desperately needs their offensive line. If they're going to play the way we think they're going to play this year, their offensive line may be the most important thing about the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you look at when the Dallas Cowboys were extremely good, especially early on in Dak Prescott. Oh, I don't have a mic.
I was wondering, I said it sounds like Chris.
I can tell you this. Go ahead. It's all right. It's July 20th.
And I thought it was just broke-ass media.
Hey, Jordan told me I didn't have a mic. I didn't have a mic. I was trying to get some light in this room. I have a backdrop. That's on me. When you look at when the Dallas Cowboys were good, though, Greeny, early on in Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott's career, it was because of this offensive line. Not only the talent on the line, but the stability. In the recent years, we haven't seen that. And we watched that hurt Dak Prescott last year as well. But when you look at Zach Martin, you're talking about a guy that's been to 8 Pro Bowls. He's a 6-time All-Pro. And he's 9th on the list in annual salary of offensive guard. Hell, the Indianapolis Colts have 2 guards that are making more money than him. So I think it's imperative that they get this fixed, but he doesn't have to be in camp right now. Right now in camp, it's about Dak Prescott. It's about how do we rekindle the running game. Is Tony Pollard healthy? And can we find a number 2 to CeeDee Lamb on the outside? This team will be defense first, but if they can't run the football, and Zach Martin is a huge part of that,
That's a
we
problem.
won't see Dak Prescott rebound in a way where he says he won't even have 10 interceptions.
Is that what this team is going to be this year? They're going to be defense and run the football?
Yeah, I believe so, because you don't want to put too much on Dak Prescott's plate, right? Especially if you're Mike McCarthy coming in and saying that you want to rush the football more so than you did a season ago. Well, you can't put the ball in Dak Prescott's hand majority of the times. And I think Zach Martin is very, very important.
You have to put it in his hands every play.
Let's be honest now. We're talking about a guy
Even to hand
for
it
the last
off.
5 years, Brady. First team All-Pro. He has a 99 grade on Madden. Let's not sit up here and act like they're handing out 99 grades on Madden like Bank of America does to the kids when they get them dum-dums and going to play with their parents. This guy means everything to that offense. And RC, you talked about, the last few years, that cohesion, that stability not really being there for that offensive line. Zach Martin, one thing I know about that old line group, those guys like to do everything in unison. Whether it's going out to eat together, partying together, traveling, going on vacations,
that's the
spending
truth.
time with families. And that's one unit on the offense that has to be in unison at all times. So I think Zach Martin not being there, especially if it gets later into training camp, is a big problem for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, look, like that's something that
We'll hold it off right there. But as I pointed out, the problem for Zach Martin is you will be losing money that is non-refundable because of the way the CBA is written. All right, good people. I got work to do over here at the Red Brick House, and we'll be following the Zach Martin as well as any other news with the Dallas Cowboys. I appreciate you guys as always, and welcome here to the Red Brick House. I'm Mark Holmes, and have a great Thursday.